And we're now live. All right. Here we are, waiting for Captain Sieber. Instagram is telling me that I have started a live video. Great. Thank you. Hey, there he is. How do... Usually, Jeff, it'll say join the send request. And... Pardon me. What's up, Johnny? What's up, Z? Hey,
Rick,
there he is.
it's in. How you doing?
Good, man. How about yourself?
We made it. You would think by now I would have figured out how to do it quickly joining, but always an adventure.
Dude, it takes me I know how to go live and everything, but it's like going from the messaging. I'm like back,
Yeah.
hit my name, hit plus, go to the bottom, scroll to live, hit live. I'm like, oh god! Suddenly it's 3:30. I've missed half an hour of our cast.
There's a lot from my end. There are a lot of doors I can try that are like maybe this drop down, maybe this button here that might get me live with you, but that's probably.
Well, how you doing, man? How's your week going?
It's good. It was went to Big Bear, which we can talk about. We will, but it's otherwise great. I don't know. It was raining earlier, which I loved.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Is it still raining there for you?
No, but it's gloomy.
Yeah. I can see a little blue sky from here, but it was coming down pretty decent for a minute.
There have been times where I'm on the freeway and between exits, it's a completely different climate.
At word.
Like, 2 exits apart, it's like monsoon, sunshine.
How was the weather up in Big Bear?
Nice. Like windy on the lake and then surprisingly kind of calm and warm the rest of the time.
Nice. What's up, Tay?
It's like 30 degrees.
Nice.
Hey, Tiki Tay.
Yeah.
My man.
All right. Osh.
Good people.
Osh.
Yes, he's right.
Gotta shake your sexy hair.
It's wow. Didn't know I could do that.
Anything fun up in Big Bear?
We mostly just hiked around and we didn't really dive into the social scene so much, just because masks and whatnot are still kind of a different, difference of opinion. But it's also like a vacation place, and it's something that we were saying, if we had been here in a non-pandemic, much different experience, because there were some shops and areas and like stuff going on that I would have been very much into.
Yeah, it's really cool walking around up there. Big Bear's beautiful. I've been up there a couple of years, but it's great.
Yeah. It's and middle of the night, just coyotes having a party.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dope. You can just hear them.
Yeah. And they sounded close.
How long were you up there for?
2 days.
3 days?
Like a Thursday night to a Sunday afternoon.
Did you guys stay in a cabin or something?
We Airbnb'd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. It's a good experience. It seems like the whole neighborhood was mostly Airbnb like houses, because we saw people coming and going, and we saw a bunch of otherwise empty houses that were probably used for this sort of vacation scenario like we had. But we were walking by one, and it was like a little kid and his parents leaving, and the kid was like, "Hey!" And I'm not going to do the voice much more than that, but he was like, We've been reading scary stories to tell in the dark, and we think that house next door is haunted because it's been closed up the entire time." And I was like, "Kid, that house is definitely haunted. I can tell you right now, just looking at it, you are lucky to get out when you are."
It's like the Munsters house or something. It's just wind blowing on it, shutters.
So it's funny you mentioned them, because we found them on Peacock and we just put them on as our background stuff.
I love the Munsters.
It's a great show, honestly.
Great.
And what I created then was my new character that I'm going to premiere on Instagram at some point, which is Guy watching the Munsters, who has no prior knowledge as to what the monsters they're representing are, any of the lore. They're just like, why are these jokes funny? What is this bit? Why is the audience laughing at that? He's talking about bats? I don't get it. Like, that's pretty much it. Never got old. To me, it never got old.
Yeah. Are the Munsters Tiki? I guess that's where we should start right now.
They're spooky, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's sort of like, is the Haunted Mansion Tiki? I think spooky can be Tiki, and I think Tiki can definitely be spooky. I don't think they're exceptionally. They're like classic monster, but good, like in the sense of like not the evil villains as they're represented or misunderstood. Like they're misunderstood, but not as tragically as the Frankenstein.
Right.
That is.
Right.
They're always talking about dying, and I'm like, what's the joke? It's very dumb.
You know, they were around right in that time, right? Because when was that show on? The 50s?
I think it was black and white, so it was way back then.
Yeah, probably late 50s or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember looking this up at one point because I was curious which came out. I was always under the impression that like the Addams Family had come out, and then like the Munsters were sort of like a rip-off from Universal.
I think the other way around. I think Addams Family came out much later, right?
They came out 1 week apart. They both debuted 1
You're
week.
kidding.
Yeah. That's like
nuts.
I know.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Z says it was the 60s, 64 to 66. And yeah, Tay said that Addams Family and Munsters came out around the same time. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wild. Man, Addams Family, like their trajectory was way up here. And then like, I don't think there was like a Munsters movie. I mean, maybe there was like a TV type movie, but not the way that the Addams Family had a movie. In
no. It was 2 seasons, the Munsters. I checked.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a pity because I would watch many more. But it also, I think there was an attempt at a reboot. There was some other stuff. It was never, I would watch it now. Again, I would prefer it was in black and white. But absolutely. I think it would be still good. And I would still not pretend to not understand the lore and therefore many of the jokes.
This needs to be the next WandaVision episode where they're all the Munsters.
They're the Munsters. Apparently, the Munsters are in the MCU.
Yep. I'm into
it. When Doc Strange and they had opened the portals in Endgame, and if the Munsters had come out of one of those portals, my head would have exploded in the theater.
Grandpa all comes out.
I'm into it. I would be so into it.
What's up, Laura? Yeah, Tay said that Addams Family always seemed like it had a bigger budget. I from the black and white show, yeah, it may have. Did the Munsters? Now I'm trying to think. Did the Munsters, were they ever in color? For some reason, I'm also thinking that like I'm having this memory of. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought the same thing. I don't think they ever were, but I will be watching further and will let you know if they ever go into color.
Word.
I think, and what was funny to me is that like Addams Family leans into being weird, and these guys, the Munsters, are like, we're just, we're normal people as far as we're concerned. Everything we do is normal. The jokes we make are normal.
Totally.
The way we live is normal. It's normal for a grandpa to shapeshift into animals and for the dad to be a bunch of corpses sewn together. That's normal to us. And I dig that they were always so straight-faced about it.
Totally.
Also, the father played the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
Did he really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I Googled it because I was like, I've seen this Frankenstein before in something.
Also, I'm sure it's been touched on in other conversations before, but the fact that like you had the dad was a Frankenstein monster, the mom was the bride of Frankenstein, correct?
Yes.
The grandpa was a vampire.
He was a Dracula, yes.
And then the son was a werewolf.
Correct. And they had a niece who was a regular human woman.
Who was Blondie.
Who was Blondie. Which meant that the bride, who was the daughter of a Dracula, had a normal human sister.
Oh, so Lily was a vampire as well. Okay,
No.
so no?
The regular human daughter was normal.
Wait, what? Wait, was that Lily?
She was the niece.
Lily was the niece?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know any of their names. I watched a bunch of those episodes. I don't know their names really.
We're gonna need some of these some of our listeners here to help us with this.
In fairness, we signed in.
Okay, Lily was the wife.
Okay,
Lily...
see, there you go. All right, this is not our area of expertise. This is not what the podcast used to be about Tiki stuff, but now it's
Marilyn was because she looked like Marilyn Monroe, right?
Okay.
Marilyn Manson, Munsters. That's it. All comes
perfect. Marilyn Munster, which I think might have been her name, presumably.
That's super duper.
Yeah.
What are you drinking on?
Oh, it's funny you should ask, because we had some people who were asking about drinks and what would be a good tiki drink for people who don't know. And I think a lot of people here know, but what I did was a Planter's Punch, which is in a Jeff Greeno glass, which check that guy out. Fantastic stuff.
Always good. Is that the Haunted Mansion glass?
Yes, it is. Good eye. I believe so.
Yeah, so good.
It's all but tikied up.
Yeah, so good. I love the colors, man. He just uses the best colors.
He's great at it. Hang on, I have to silence my phone. His fans are texting. But, you know, the recipe I pulled out is from one of the legit texts I look at. If you look at Planter's Punch recipes on, like, online or at many other places, for being one of the OGs, as far as recipes are concerned, it's been bastardized a bunch.
Yeah.
It's been thrown all over the place. Like, the one I use here is, like, 3 ounces rum, allspice dram, bitters, lime juice. Very simple, but complex how they want it all to go together.
Right.
And then I was reading one to you during rehearsal, which, you know, spoiler alert, we chat prior backstage.
These are industry secrets.
Yeah, we get together and we just have a brief chat. But it had 2 ounces rum, Cointreau, and then roughly 3 ounces of orange and lemon juice, or orange and pineapple combined, and then lime juice. Like, it was so much juice.
That's just Hawaiian Punch with some rum.
Which, just those 2 items together, great. Hawaiian Punch and rum, tiki.
Very tiki.
Speaking of Tiki Tay saying, favorite iteration is the Smuggler's Cove version, which, yes, that is the one I was describing. I kept it vague, though, because I didn't... Yep, Asham knows. It's buy the book, if you can, because I don't want to give away their shit, but it's really...
Do you also...
Sorry,
oh, yeah. There you go.
It looks like you froze. Okay.
No,
we
you
both
froze. No, you. Do you ever use the Total Tiki app?
I believe you put me on it.
And
it's
yeah,
I haven't lately because I've just been diving into this book.
Right. I was looking up some of the Planter's Punches that are on there, and I think it has 4 different iterations of it on there from like early I don't know, it's probably from the 50s all the way through the 90s or something like that.
Got it. So pre and then post Munsters.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. That's AM and PM after
yes.
pre-Munster.
That's not confusing. People will know what we mean.
I myself am drinking a Mango Smash from Trademark Brewing. Shout out to Trademark Brewing, as I do every week.
Down it. That's Tiki.
My wife is the brewer, and it's amazing. And they've got some, I get all the insider information from her, so I'm not sure if what I'm allowed to say or not, but they've got some really good, cool stuff in the works.
Okay, good.
is going to start appearing throughout LA and such. So I'm
Good.
really...
Keep it vague. We are live and recording. So
Mhm.
easily the biggest paper trail in this case.
Easily. Did you watch anything this week? Anything super duper besides the
Besides the Munsters? WandaVision. There's probably some other stuff, but mostly just trash or putting on background stuff as we were doing our thing.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
Watched a lot of stuff this week.
Oh, okay.
We did Freaky Friday last Friday. We watched The Nun.
That's a scary movie, right?
It would fall under that genre.
Is this becoming a spooky podcast? Because
this might be.
I'm fine with it.
Halloween March.
By episode 4, we've completely changed our formula.
Yo, is this podcast creepy?
Spooky? That's good too.
Both work.
Yeah.
The Nun was super fun. Not Tiki. Creepy. Not super scary. And pretty ridiculous, but fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ian loves our creepy direction here.
It's worth pointing out that COVID. Oh, thank you, Tay. This is my friend Taylor in New York, who's just an absolute doll.
Nice.
This is my COVID/LA hair, I guess. Yeah. It has not been this long since probably high school.
Nice. How long has it been since you got a haircut?
At least a year at this point.
Yeah, I've hit over a year too.
Yeah. Good for us. But,
woo!
So enough of my hair in high school is a completely different podcast, which we can talk about producing. But the spookiness of and tikiness of things came together for me. And I think 2019, when there was the Midsummer Fright Fest or something, I think in in Long Beach-ish, they had a whole convention of all horror, and then in a small blacklit dark area, they had Jeff Granito and some Tiki stuff, and a whole set of just creepy luau bit.
Love it.
And it was great. It was bizarre, but it made sense for all the skulls and shit to be in this convention. And I also saw a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise come across.
Totally.
Because it was, boy, if you like horror things, check out the Midsummer Scream, I think it was called.
Zara says it was her nightmare.
She did not have as good a time as I did. Because there were people running around in masks that would scream at you. But they never screamed at us. They would kind of engage people who were willing to get scared, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like a Comic-Con, but scary.
Nice.
For horror stuff.
Right.
It was wild.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out, assumedly next year.
It was canceled last year, so probably later this year, if not next year.
Right. Also watched Fantasia for probably the first time since I was a child. Especially rewatching it, it was very apparent to me that this would just been totally over my head as a kid, just would not have grabbed my attention at all.
Oh, you know what? You know who I was into as a kid from that? I'll give you one guess. What part of that movie?
Now all I'm thinking of is the classic Mickey scene.
Oh, the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is great, but I liked the bit with his actual name is Chernabog, the big demon that's at the end.
Ah, yes.
Which is an insane thing to see in the movie, where he's just making demons and shit.
Yes.
And then, because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and it was on here just as background, and I was like, this is insane.
Oh, yeah.
What was the process where they're okay, and then he drops all the flames, and it makes a bunch of more demon servants. And then how about we end it with church bells and the sun coming up, and we just kind of segue into Ave Maria to end the whole thing. And I'm like, first of all, this is about a 15-minute segment. And secondly, Ave Maria? What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Night on Bald Martin. Thank you, Katara 13 Fox. Oh, yeah, he was throwing a dance party. I got that vibe. It seemed pretty fun.
Yeah, I was boogieing for sure.
And this is something I always bring up because it's such a weird segue, but have you seen the new Mickey cartoon that's been produced? It's been done by, I think, the same people who did, like, Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, okay.
So it's, like, new animation. They have a new ride in Tokyo Disney for it, too.
Okay. I'm aware, but I've not seen it.
Okay. It's bonkers for, like, a Mickey cartoon because it's kind of getting into, like, classic Nicktoons territory with with the stakes, kind of.
Right.
And there was an episode where, like, Mickey, Goofy, and Donald are playing football, and then the bad guy, Mickey's big enemy guy. I think his name is Blarth or something. It's like...
All I'm thinking of is the same character from Popeye.
It's Pete.
Pete, yes.
Pete.
Yes.
Pete shows up, and Chernabog shows up, and he's on his team for football, and they play a game, and the bad guys are kicking their ass, of course. And then at one point, the good guys start winning, and Mickey kicks the football through Chernabog's chest, killing him, sending him back to hell. He just sinks into the ground.
Oh my god.
It was the most insane thing I had ever seen in a current Mickey cartoon.
Are those ones almost getting more into like a Looney Tunes type?
Somewhat, but they still have like Mickey still loves Minnie, and like Donald is still this guy, and Goofy is like clumsy and weird. They still have the same character traits, and it's not less slapstick, but it's it's pretty even actually. Nice. Yeah.
I also watched Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, so good.
So good. And, that I feel like very much the same. It's so much more like almost Looney Tunes cartoon than most of the other Disney cartoons out there.
Yeah.
As far as just like, it's like someone will run off a cliff and then they look down and then they fall type situation. That movie is great.
There's a moment where they're like, how did you get back before us? And like all the characters are like, you know what? When we look at the map, it doesn't make any sense. It's really like to be that self-aware in like a 90s, early 2000 movie is really pretty impressive.
Agreed. Yeah.
Did you know that the original concept for that movie was about a prince? It was kind of like a prince and a pauper switching scenario with Owen Wilson playing the guy who looks exactly like David Spade's character, and they would switch. And Sting had written like an entire set of music for it and everything, and they just scrapped it and just changed it all around.
Is that why that last, like the credits song with Sting is so out of place and terrible?
They kept two songs. One was the opening one, or he rewrote one for the opening, which was that one. And then the end credit song, I think, was one that they kept. But they had written, like, they had a song for the villain. They had a song, like, they had songs up the wazoo.
Wow.
And it was a completely different premise. There's like a whole documentary on YouTube that you could check out.
Really?
Yeah. It's wild.
That credits Sting song was some garbage trash right there. That was trash money.
We're coming in hot for Sting today, I guess.
When are we not? And I think the last thing that I watched...
The Sweatbox. Sorry, the Sweatbox is the name of the documentary. For anyone looking, pull it up. It's great. It's a wild ride.
Nice. I finally finished Cowboy Bebop, the series.
Oh, nice.
I downloaded the movie, but I haven't watched it yet. really excited for that. Not really Tiki, but god damn it, that show is good. Woo!
It's space. It's escapism. So we
They
could
do
make an argument.
like fish float, glass float, fan lamp in the Bebop, which is killer.
Yeah, good eye.
Yeah, and Moana was the last thing that we watched. Very Tiki.
Great. Every step of the way, like that movie is not too long. It doesn't really drag in any particular moment. Every time we were like, well, this could have been cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely some parts that get a little like eye rolly, and it sort of felt a little forced, but it doesn't
like
really...
when her grandmother dies. I'm with you. I hear you 100% of the way. Didn't need that.
Yeah, Tay hated Moana. Yeah.
That's a whole separate podcast.
Speak for him, but I think oftentimes, especially musicals, can be a hard sell. I fit into the same category as well. But yeah, that movie it's so beautiful to look at, and
yeah,
it's okay, Tay, we love you.
It's a fun story. You can have your opinions. You can have hot takes here.
Yeah.
What Tay did love was Lilo and Stitch.
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
So good. Always good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Best part of Moana was the chicken. Chicken and the pig, man. It's all about hey and Pua.
The chicken was immortal.
Yeah.
It was kind of glossed over, but that chicken was blessed by the gods and could not die.
Star Wars 7 here asks if we're brothers. We are not.
In so many words.
Close enough.
In a way.
If anyone's watching who doesn't actually know us, it was my uncle was friends with your dad growing up in New York.
Yes.
We moved out to California. I moved out to California, and like a year or something after that, you were moving out.
Yeah.
We got back.
We got put in touch.
Then we were roommates.
Yeah, and then here we are now.
And now it's today. So
what's funny is that simultaneously, independent of any conversation and not talked about until we were kind of both at the same level, did we get into Tiki.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the same time, without any communication.
Totally.
At about the same, the same level of interest and appreciation for, which is bizarre.
Yeah. I got into it when Tay got really into it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, Tabby Relics? He was just making drinks all the time at the house, and I wasn't a huge cocktail fan back then. I was way more into just, beer and smoking weed. And just him making these savagely good tropical, fruity, juicy cocktails. And then after that, we went to the first, I think it was the first Tiki Land Trading Company. And I was like, oh my God, there's a whole art scene connected to this. And that's what really got me into everything.
Oh, yeah. The art scene is a big part of, I think, building an appreciation for it, because so much of when me and buddies would go to these things who may not have been as into it, who may not have been as, familiar with the Tonga Hut or wherever have you, the art shows that they would have and the people we would meet and just the stuff that they had was always so unique and fun and exciting and cool that you could find something really for anybody. It's where I got a lot of gift shopping done.
Oh, yeah.
It was, in the before times.
in the PM, the pre-Munsters.
I don't think you're using that right.
No, people understand it.
No, I am doing it right.
I know Tonga art shows.
Oh.
So speaking of, my birthday is on the 13th this month, which is the same day as they're having an original Tiki marketplace, which was one of the earliest of these Tiki bazaars or whatever you would call them. that's going to be down in Garden Grove. They're doing it. Usually they have it in the Elks Lodge there, but this one is going to be outside. So, bless you. Social, that was Kiefer.
Drink.
Oh, yeah.
If the dog is indicated, that's the new rule we've made for the podcast. If the dog is indicated in any way, you have to drink. And if he shows up on camera, you finish your drink.
Drink and take a shot.
Ooh. Trying to kill our audience.
But I was reading all the info they put up on it. You have to wear a mask. Everyone gets their temperature taken when you get there. It's all outside. Everybody's socially distanced and all that. So, as kind of, I think, a little birthday celebration, really the first time going out since all this started. I think we're gonna. What's up, JP? JP in the house. I think we're gonna hit that up though. So, if anybody wants to join, you guys are welcome to look up Original Tiki Marketplace.
If you want to see this guy in person and shout at him for his tiki opinions, here's where he's going to be.
March 13th.
Now's your chance. You find the guy with that hair, wearing a mask, probably that same shirt.
Probably. Possibly.
I would say...
Possibly hat.
I would say definitely hat. And then 3 to 15... pendant necklaces.
Yes. Just weighing me down. Hunched over.
Everyone hunched over. Face down on. Yeah.
My buddy JP is saying that Devin Booker was not Tiki last night. He got ejected from the Suns game while they were playing the Lakers. Didn't matter. Still beat the Lakers. Go Suns. Second in the league.
Are we a basketball and spooky podcast now? Have we already pivoted from spooky into sports?
Spooks and Hoops. That's the name of this podcast.
Oh no. That's pretty good, I gotta say. I'm not gonna argue it.
Let's see. Took some notes about anything. We rearranged our mug shelf this weekend.
It looks great.
Thank you. Most of this is pretty much the same. Some little changes there. It's most of the higher ups that you can't really see, but we were really happy with that. Kind of took all day Sunday to do that, and that was fun.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of mugs, so good on you.
Yeah, we had gotten 3 new mugs from Tiki Farm this week. I guess I don't know if you can see the top of the blue one and the red one.
Oh, yeah.
Up in the
those are on your feed, too. Those are some beauties.
Yeah, I was really stoked about those. Tiki Farm makes great stuff, man. I feel like a lot of people hate on them, but
yeah,
is what it is, I guess.
Mac, I feel like I just need to apologize to the Lakers fans in our who are listening or watching. Just we usually aren't going to voice our sports opinions as much because Mac will. And if the Vikings ever go to the Super Bowl, you'll hear about it from me. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty quiet. I would imagine it'll be easier for me than it is for you.
Go Suns, go Bills.
There you go. That's not too polarizing, I would imagine.
Yeah. This past week, I got approved the proof for my new pin that I have coming out.
Is that the blowfish?
Yeah, in the bottle. It's called Puff Puff Pass the Bottle pin.
I knew it had a fun name.
I'm working on the backing for it. The backing's coming out pretty good. So I'm pretty hyped about all this. Hopefully going to get that around the beginning of April. I'm hoping. COVID has screwed up all the, making of all this stuff and getting everything produced, which is a huge pain in the ass. But
just everything, more or less.
Literally everything. Yeah,
I love the concept. You've made a lot of good, unique pieces that I hadn't seen previously, and I've been to a good amount of these art shows and shit, so that counts for a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm not just saying it because I'm the co-host either.
And because I can just kick you out of here anytime I want.
You could boot me, and then it's just Mac monologuing.
Ooh, I just saw there was a new so you sent me just like not too long before this started from Search for Tiki, that bar mat, really cool looking. And then just after that, they put up a mug that they're coming out with collaboration with Doug Horn, and it's like a World War II crashed plane, and it looks awesome.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's called I wrote that down. Where is it? Trouble in Paradise mug. So hyped about it. I think I threw it up on my story. If you want to check it out, go.
Yeah, I'll check that out afterwards. Funny story. Asham sent me the mat.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh well, I have to show this to anyone who appreciates Tiki.
Yeah.
But send it to you. I am very excited about that. I have very little place to put it. Really, like I don't really need it, and I will probably get it.
Definitely.
And to be honest, because like I was looking at it, my first thought as I made this joke in the same chat was, why is it Legos? Because like the texture,
yeah,
just from how it was shot, my immediate like gut response was, that's Legos.
I don't want to step on it.
I don't know how they did it, but I guess that's a Lego set. It's really specific.
Are you familiar with B-Rex? Brian Reckenmacher, I think his name is.
I might be in passing, or I might have seen.
He's put some really cool looking bar mats out as well. Both like the big rectangular ones and the like speed rail mats, the long thin
little.
He has really cool art. That guy is stuff.
I had actually, to segue back a bit, because we had our questions. One of the things was Legos.
Ooh.
Tiki.
Mm.
And I would, some of them, there are definitely some sets there's pirates, there's the Imperial Armada set, like there was that whole, like, they were at conflict.
Nautical, yeah.
Yeah. Legos is, again, kind of in its own category of, and can have Tiki, but it's like Muppets, kind of, where, like, for the most part, it's just Legos. Legos are Legos. And then this Lego set happens to be Tiki.
Agreed. Yeah, in the Venn diagram, it can definitely make the crossover, but it's not necessarily Tiki inherently.
No, but the pirate sets, like, big fan of Legos growing up. Mm-hmm. As a child, we had the one big ship with, like, the red and white, like, cloth sails on it.
Yeah.
Which I'm told by my mother as a child that she, a babysitter, built. It took days, and as soon as they were done, within 5 minutes, I myself broke it. Which she loves to remind me, but I don't think, having been there, I don't recall
it. It's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I've come a long way since. Why wouldn't you break it?
Right.
I'm just role-playing Poseidon in this case.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with the Lego Islanders as a set? Do you remember this?
Now that you say that kind of rings a bell, but I can't pull up what that was.
You would have to Google it, but they had like red and white, like half face paint, and they had like kind of grass skirt animate, like painting on their legs, and they had, overall it was kind of problematic, and I think I know why they were pulled from shelves, or at least aren't in circulation now. But they were big, like sort of moai, and like, kind of just a jungle Amazon-esque vibe, but it was a little problematic.
Taste that it was very Tiki. Grass huts, red masks. They had canoes, and it was also probably pretty racist.
They they kind of missed a step there, and you won't see that at the Lego store currently. I would Google it though to see what it was about.
I mean, those came out in like the late '80s, early '90s. In my
90s, they were definitely in 90s.
Okay,
I think late 90s. I
really?
could be wrong.
Okay, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, check it out. It's wild to see. As a concept, I see what they were trying to do, and as an execution, I can see being upset.
A little swing and a miss there.
Like, yeah. So, you know.
Man, I wish I had some. Wait, I do have some Legos. I should try and make some like mugs out of Legos.
And then drink from it.
And then drink.
Camera.
I gotta find my Legos.
That, well, segueing into a MILF, if you will, a mug I'd like to fill.
Mm-hmm.
If you had like a carved ceramic to look like Legos, could be like built from it in such a way, but then, you know, could be a decent mug.
I want to make like a coconut Lego mug.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? That seems pretty easy.
Or a barrel. Who cares?
Yeah.
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 Anyway. Or just a big Lego pirate face with the eye patch and the head is hollow, and you drink out of that.
Yeah.
Legoland can email me anytime, and we can talk shop.
I love Legoland. I haven't been in forever.
I've never been, but I'd be into it.
Yeah, we should. I was there as a kid once. It was really neat. If there was a mug I'd like to fill.
Yeah, what's your MILF?
It is definitely from Moana when Maui turns half into the shark, so he's got the shark head and then like the fat legs and body. I was like laughing my ass off at that. That was so funny to me.
Yep.
That I absolutely want to drink out of half shark Maui. Plus, with like it would have the oar, right? That says like heart, whatever he carved into it, heart hook.
Oh yeah.
Whizzle stick. Disneyland can call me whenever.
Yeah, that's great. I'm into it. That Trader Sam's, I could see that being there. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I was kind of, Val and I were talking about this, like, I'm sort of shocked that I feel like Moana hasn't made its way into the Disney Tiki community as much as I would have expected it to.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you see the coconuts around, the little, like, pirate coconuts or whatever those guys were.
Yes.
But I know, like, Doug Horn he has a bunch of artwork with them. But outside of that, I really haven't seen much from that movie, and that's shocking to me.
You make a good point. Anyone listening, please let us know what the deal is, if you know. Why is Disney not jumping in on this? Why isn't there the exact mug that Mac described?
It's moving into the Poly Resort. Interesting.
Okay. That makes sense.
There we go.
Okay, good.
Let's get that going.
Look what we did. That's crazy. It's crazy how we made that happen.
Should we dive into some more of these questions?
Yeah, what do you have?
Here's one for today. Cloudy Days. Or Cloudy Days Tiki.
Or Cloudy Days Tiki. I don't, like, with the exception of snow and, well, I would say explicitly it's neutral on the Tiki scale. It's very much in the 400 to 500 range, where it's not really, but not definitely, like not really, kind of.
Yeah, because I mean, you can definitely, especially with rain, if you're adding in a little rain, because that comes with hurricane.
Yeah, that comes with hurricane, and I was about to pretty much anything but snow. Because volcano, hurricane, as you mentioned, in the realm of Tiki. But blizzard, not so much. Earthquake, not really.
Not really. Unless it comes along with the volcano, I guess.
Yeah, but not if you're in Trader Sam's in Anaheim, and they're like, "Look out! There's an earthquake." that goes over poorly with the SoCal residents. We're like, shit, is this it? Not as good as a volcano, which has kind of the funness of, you wouldn't have a volcano, you wouldn't shout that in a restaurant in Pompeii.
Right.
That will worry clientele. So it kind of depends on your area, but above all, cloudy days, not really explicitly tiki, not tiki. More tiki than a blizzard or a snowstorm, but less tiki than if they had rain with it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
I give it a 440 on a scale of 1 to 1,000.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can get into that. Next was Marvel. Is Marvel tiki?
Marvel again. I'm glad we're having these questions because we can break down when it's a huge overarching. Marvel has its own park opening in California Adventure, more or less.
Yep.
That's in the category of Muppets, Legos. It's its own entity. Now, there are tiki moments in said movies or experiences, and there may be, if there's a tiki Marvel character,
I'm not familiar with
seen him.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, give me a Groot tiki mug in any form, and we can talk maybe. What about specifically Thor Ragnarok? I don't think so, because that's still kind of in the, at most, sci-fi realm.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, and is my favorite movie in the MCU Thor Ragnarok? Yes. Fantastic. Love it. But I don't think that one is tiki in any way. It's still MCU.
Yeah, I'm with Taboo Relics on this one too, because I was going to say I'm pretty sure I never say his name right.
Taika Waititi.
Waititi.
Yeah.
Yeah, his character wears the Aloha shirt, but so maybe that scope.
Tiki. Well, Taika is definitely tiki, but he makes everything from What We Do in the Shadows to Thor Ragnarok to so many other things. Well, I think directed episodes of The Mandalorian and whatnot. So he's in his own, but he is tiki.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I believe so.
Hamburgers tiki?
I don't think so. I
mean, you can have a Hawaiian style burger, with some huli sauce and some pineapple on it, or pineapple chutney.
Yeah.
Something like that, but ultimately, I don't think so.
No, I don't think, because when we look at food, it was an invention of the tiki movement, or it was a food that is native and kind of like resonates with the surrounding area that it came from. So you have the crab rangoon and rumaki, which were invented by tiki movements early on, and you also have coconuts, which are natively tiki, but a hamburger being, I think, a German creation, originally riffed on by America early on, and now kind of made famous by McDonald's.
Yeah.
But
Tay makes a good point. Islands Burgers would try and argue with this, but he also says they have no say.
Sure, you can make a spin on the burger any which way you want, but that means your restaurant is tiki, but the concept themselves, I don't think are.
Spam burger might be pretty tiki. You could specifically have a tiki spam burger. I'll give you that.
I could see that yes, but then that's a different thing, because if you went to a restaurant and ordered a hamburger and they brought you a spam burger, you would say, this is not what I wanted.
That's
not the same thing. That's a different. So yeah, food is a tough territory sometimes, but it also comes down to, would this be something I would see served at a tiki party, at a tiki themed party? Would I see mini hamburgers with pineapple and cheese and bacon at a Tiki party, I think that would go over very well.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be explicitly Tiki, but you have put a spin on it that I think would be appreciated.
Right. Okay. Greg Brady. I assume from the Brady Bunch, right? That's Greg Brady. Was he the dad?
That? I thought that was Tom Brady's dad.
I never really watched the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
They movie I didn't know either. Hawaii, right? Wasn't that one of the movies?
They did go, yes, but that wasn't like their whole shtick. It wasn't like Hawaii 5-0.
Right.
So I don't think he is. No, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. And when was the Brady Bunch? That was like in the 70s, right?
Mac, your guess is as good as mine. I think it was post Munsters. He takes the idol and brings a curse on the family.
That sounds pretty.
Mac, I think we know what we're going to do in prep for next week's episode. We have to find and watch this thing.
Was this the was this the Brady Bunch movie? A very Brady movie? Andrew says it was the 70s. All right, cool.
If this was a 30-minute episode that somehow does this and resolves, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh yeah, someone did ask. Is The Rock Tiki? Yes, he absolutely is. He's Samoan.
Yeah. I think we covered this last one actually.
We're gonna have to put a disclaimer as to what the Muppets and The Rock are both not Tiki and definitely Tiki, but sometimes the Muppets are Tiki.
Okay, so this is a 3-part Brady Bunch episode where they go. Beautiful. I have no time to watch that.
Okay. I think you do, Mac. I'm gonna watch it.
I do.
I'll watch it and I'll report. I'll report back.
What about King Kong? It's King Kong Tiki. I feel like King Kong is tikier than any of the other things we've touched on in these questions so far.
He is on, kind of, yeah. Yeah, he skews tiki-er, given where they went to get him, given what...
Gull Island is that's just tiki.
Yeah, no, for real. I think they are in the Pacific. They're somewhere on the ocean, but then in the city, it becomes less tiki.
Less,
but not. He is also one that I think has, because gorillas and apes, monkeys in general, are tiki. You can find reference to Planet of the Apes in a lot of drinks. You can see mugs that have chimp faces and whatever else. Like that, it's not.
I got a whole monkey temple setup of our mugs up here.
There you go. Congo, the movie. Probably tiki. I haven't seen it.
My buddy was in that movie.
You're friends with a monkey.
He's a good dude.
Okay, cool. I read the book, which was excellent. The same guy who did Jurassic Park.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Michael
Crichton.
Michael Crichton? Yeah.
Welcome back to Book Talk. So King Kong, I think, is on a scale of 1 to 1,000. I would give him like a 650 or maybe 700.
Yeah. I'm definitely leaning closer to the 7s for me.
Okay.
Maybe even like 701.
701, Mac.
I might top that.
Mac, we only get so many points. All right. That's fine, though. I respect it.
We'll write that down on the official ledger.
Yeah. We're going to have to post these scores somewhere.
Wrestling. Is wrestling tiki? I mean...
You know more about it than me.
So, professional wrestling, probably not really tiki, but maybe just the act of wrestling in general could have more of a case made for it.
Uh, I don't know enough about it. I haven't watched or experienced as much as you have. It seems to be similar to the Muppets Legos vibe, where it's its own thing, and it brings in elements, because it could have Tiki, it could have Spooky, because it has the Undertaker, it has The Rock, it also has John Cena, it has a whole bunch of, and that's the end of the wrestlers that I know. Oh, Steve Austin. So it's going to encompass a whole lot of different things, but in itself is not any one of those things.
I would agree with this. Yeah, much lower on the Tiki scale.
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
JP says jiu-jitsu is big in Hawaii, so there's that.
Yeah. Hey, I get it.
Ian from Creepers Cove asked, is Chevy Malibu Tiki?
The automobile?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. If Chevy wants to sponsor us for a better score, I will gladly elevate them from a 100 on the scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But prior to that, I don't think so much. But it raises a good question about what automobile or what vehicle would qualify as a Tiki, a Polynesian sort of vehicle. And I think we need to dive into like Hawaii 5-0 or watch some stuff where they would have had a sort of history or a reference to what would have been available there, you know?
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess it kind of comes down to like when did the Chevy Malibu first come out? If that was an old car, initially.
VW bus, Jacoby is saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, VW bus.
Especially if it's teal.
Yeah, pretty Tiki. That goes like hand in hand with pineapples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You drive it right on the beach.
Surfing, yeah, all that jazz. I feel like cars, it really comes down to the era they were originally from and like whether or not big time Hollywood celebrities were driving them to the tiki bars in Hollywood and showing up with them or
yes,
not.
as well as what showed up in certain tiki-ish movies.
Yeah.
From, whatever Elvis was driving, whatever Stitch was driving. That sort of... Because Jeeps, I think, could be argued as pretty tiki.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a car that you were going to roll up or see at a tiki convention.
Yeah.
You drove one for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really anything that you can like safari or adventure in or is beach worthy, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tay says the Woody, absolutely. Anything you can like rock your surfboards on the top of and have a, one of like these beach parties around, that's definitely tiki.
Yeah. Yep, I know what you mean. I know what that means.
This is the...
What other
great, perfect. Oh yeah, Tiki Tony has that Land Rover, which is primo. That thing. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh man, it is.
Sounds great. I'm into it.
It is. That's what's up. Yeah, he's got it decked out to the nines. It's very tiki.
Way to be.
Yeah. Tiki Tay asks, is Tiki Tay Tiki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the name. For one of us, it was the guy who introduced him to it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, like, there you go.
Yep.
Not only, that's at least, I would say, a 900 on the scale of 1 to 1,000.
He's like one step below Don the Beachcomber only because he wasn't alive that long ago.
Wow. High praise. I'm going to score him lower. I'm going to score him lower because I want him to aspire.
There you go.
I got to give Chief Tiki Tay something to root for. But he's
go.
made some mean drinks. He's got a creative mind. He's got a good grasp of what the movement and the culture and all of it. And he, most of all, enjoys it. So...
Got a hot bod.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't really get you points, but yes.
It does.
You give your score, I'm giving mine. I need him to just I want to see more from him.
Right, right.
You're the good cop, I'm the bad cop. You're the nice judge, I'm the mean judge. That's how we're gonna play it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Tay also asks, carnivorous plants. Are carnivorous plants Tiki?
You know what? Surprisingly, yeah, I would give a case for that. I think most of them originate in a tropical, Polynesian, any of that region. I think there's something to be said for being eaten by a plant, by the adventure of that, in a world where, considering so much of this is an adventure theme, like you can make a case for that being something that's important to Tiki. If the plants themselves are coming for you, that counts for a lot. But at the same time, I want to state for the record, Little Shop of Horrors, I don't think is Tiki.
Nor would Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Probably not Tiki.
Yeah. Or Plants vs. Zombies.
Despite there being carnivorous plants and zombies, which are both relatively Tiki.
Are zombies Tiki?
I mean, there's a drink named after him.
Ah, fuck. Dang it, Mac. Had that ready and loaded. How did I had forgotten again for a second that there was a drink with that name, but yeah. As a concept, I had thought more spooky, but no, that would be the one point that kind of brings a lot of the spooky in, is that original drink there. Good call.
And really, because you get, I feel like you get, especially with like shrunken heads and things that these native tribes would do to adventurers if they have like a zombie potion or something. I think it all kind of crosses over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good call. Plants vs. Zombies, then we may have to reconsider.
That's it. It's higher than it was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
On the Tiki.
That's a whole different discussion. Do you have any more questions that were asked of you?
Tay also asked
50 more.
Yeah, here, you go.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll go. I had Legos, which we discussed. I had Spaghetti Stitch, which I don't think you're familiar with.
I am not. Is this Stitch made out of spaghetti?
More or less. It's in Disney sort of commerce currently, they're having their, this year, they're kind of celebrating Stitch by each month premiering pins and stuffed toys and stuff that have Stitch in the style of when Stitch sort of crashed another movie when they were making trailers for the movie Lilo and Stitch back early on.
Okay.
Does this ring a bell? Because it kind of, back in the day, they would run a trailer and you would think, oh, why is Ariel singing? And then Stitch surfs in.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So they did that with apparently Aladdin. They had one for the Lion King. And they had one for Lady and the Tramp. They had a bunch. But currently, each month now in Disney, they are selling a limited edition version of Stitch memorabilia done up in the style of, for Beauty and the Beast, he was done up kind of like the windows in the castle that were stained glass, and he's got a rose in his mouth.
Okay.
And then for February, they were doing Lady and the Tramp, where he's in the body type of a tablecloth, and his limbs are covered in spaghetti. It's insane to describe it. I don't know what meeting took place where this ended up being the result. It's cool. Love Stitch. Great guy. he's unkillable. He's a tiny Wolverine.
Love it.
Yeah. But is Spaghetti Stitch Tiki? I think he scores low. I don't think we can make a case that he is.
I would say he probably scores lower than just regular Stitch.
Yes, absolutely. But Lion King Stitch will probably score slightly higher.
Maybe a little higher.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
I had one more, which was gonzo journalism.
Gonzo journalism?
This was the type of journalism that Hunter S. Thompson coined, I guess you could say. Which I would say, no. I don't think that gonzo journalism is particularly tiki. However, The Rum Diaries, which was a Hunter S. Thompson book, although his first fictional story, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty cheeky.
Sure, yeah.
He went to Hawaii, kind of gets stuck. It's been a while since I've read it, but he gets stuck there. He's just drinking rum the whole time. They made the movie with Johnny Depp about it, which was
right.
Decent. But
well, he and Hunter S. Thompson were good friends, if I recall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were real type.
Yeah. No, I would say that gonzo journalism is not tiki. It's its own thing again, and it doesn't qualify in any of the. I can't see kind of a world. Please correct us if we're wrong. Weigh in, message, yell.
Oh yeah, comment. Tay's right. Rum Diaries was in Puerto Rico. I'm thinking of The Curse of Lono, which was not. Yes, thank you, Tay. Curse of Lono was in Hawaii, and that was not fiction. That was an actual gonzo journalism to an extent, I guess. So that actually makes the case for a little bit more than it was, but ultimately the style of gonzo journalism, not necessarily tiki.
Somehow, Mac, I seem to have stumbled into the add a comment bit, and I can't see what people are writing again. So that's why I sent a coconut drink to see if that would remove it. It didn't, so here we are.
Well, good. I'll keep you posted if anybody.
Yeah, please do. I appreciate that. What was that?
They said fair.
Good. I had one question is The Bachelor tiki? And you don't watch it, right?
Thank God. Val was like, last night she was making dinner, and she was like, you guys should talk about whether or not The Bachelor was tiki, and talk about if she wanted me to bring up with you the clip that you sent me of the parachuting. Which is the greatest clip of anything I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's my favorite clip for people who don't know, it's at the end of a skydiving date where they were diving down. The Bachelor makes it fine, lands with like regal, classy music playing, and then his date is coming in. He's lying on the ground watching her, and they're parachuting down in. The chute is open, and she's strapped to the instructor, and the instructor and her basically just face plant into the ground at what seems to be
full speed,
minimum 25 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And just biffs it completely. I've never seen a worse landing, and it makes such a noise. They both ragdoll to a degree that I'm like, take her out of the game. She's concussed. She can't be okay. I don't think it, but
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm with everybody here. I don't think The Bachelor in particular is tiki.
No, it's its own. If any, it would skew close to romantic novel, reality TV, Hallmark Channel love story business, if anything.
Yeah.
Even if they go to like a tropical resort or have like a pineapple eating contest, these are all things that have happened on the show. I wouldn't give it a very high score because of what it initially is. Even if they were handing out orchids or Mai Tais instead of will you take this rose?
Yeah.
I would not give it a high score.
It could be set in a Tiki environment, but not really Tiki.
No, it's not. And you could make claims about the ethics behind how people are, how some of the producers push things, or the people that they cast who may or may not have the best interests in mind, or just the platforms they give to some terrible people, well, really just good people getting shit on. I've watched a lot of it. I'm happy to have opinions, but that's, again, one of 5 new podcasts that have been birthed from this episode alone.
And some people have said no to Bachelor, but yes to Survivor. I would agree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Survivor comes in very high in my Tiki scale.
Yeah. As far as reality show is concerned, that one is very high up there. I would give it at least a 800, probably. I think there was one that was like Survivor Polynesia or Survivor Cook Islands. Like, they're mostly in the same sort of area. They went to like Australia and Africa once.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, it's easier to film here.
Back to Fiji.
Back to Fiji. Yeah. It's, as far as those shows go, those have the adventure. They have, fire. Yeah. Which is a big part of it, at least the drinks I've had.
Whatever I think it was 2 seasons ago, when Tribal had this like giant beached ship.
Yeah, that was tight.
That was so neat. I was like, we got to make a Tiki bar that looks like that.
Yeah.
So neat. I wanted to like hire the people, the Survivor people who made it. I was like,
great.
All the gears were turning.
Well, Mac, that ship was there. They just built around
it. Yeah, Tay says Tribal Council set always looks like it could be a Tiki bar. Totally.
The pen itself is pretty Tiki.
Yeah.
I had one that was Hawaiian Punch as a Tiki. Yeah. I think for a lot of kids in the 90s, that was their first Tiki drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I give it, and that little guy's Tiki.
Do you know that little guy's name?
No.
It's Punchy.
Of course it is.
I know.
That's a great name. My parents almost named me that, to be honest.
Punchy Seaver.
Punchy Seaver.
That's you got to change your Instagram handle, bro.
Yeah, clearly. That'll confuse a lot of people.
Oh, Kiefer laid on me. Take a drink. All right, you got any more questions?
No, I think that's good for now.
Yeah, we cruised right past our hour mark.
We've run over again. That's
how Tiki.
Again, you and I were backstage chatting prior, so this is
love it. Absolutely.
But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank Mac for this wonderful discussion, as always, becoming a highlight of my week.
Same.
Yeah. So I hope everyone enjoys it, and please keep the questions coming.
Writer adventure art. I was like some shirts and stuff during these.
Yeah.
Shout out
from Uniqlo. It has roosters. Hey. Moana.
Very Tiki. Also shout out to Ian and Robert from the Happy Tiki Heads podcast that I was on last night.
Yes.
Super. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
Don,
very entertaining. Good stuff.
And all that. So
yeah. And shout out to the Munsters family. Someday I'm going to understand the jokes, but until I figure out what the monsters they're representing are, well, I'm not going to get
it. It'll come to you.
Probably.
It'll land.
Yeah. All right, Mac, until next week.
Love it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. A lot of fun.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, mates.